Hey everybody, this is Robert Burke. Welcome to episode number 30 of When to Play. Today we are going to be talking about a quick little card-based game called Blurble. Now, Blurble was a game that I kickstarted. It was on Kickstarter right after my first game, Cartoona, successfully completed its Kickstarter campaign. I saw Blurble and I was like, I was very attracted to it because it was also a children's game that was on Kickstarter and it raised just about the same amount of funds as mine. So I kind of felt a connection. It was this designer's first game as well. So I felt a connection to it and I backed it and I really liked the idea at the time of the Kickstarter. And the idea was very simple. In Blurble, it's got a ton. Basically, it's the game is a ton of cards. It's a very small box. Unfortunately, my box came with some dings on the corners. I don't think it was really packed well enough for the weight, but it's not a big deal because the box is very high quality. But the box is quality and the cards are good quality. But it's just filled with a bunch of cards and they all have pictures on them. So the game could not be simpler. You're going to pick somebody at the table and you're going to challenge them. And when you challenge them, you're going to flip one of these cards over. So everybody's going to look at the image and it's a flashlight. So you have got to come up with a word that begins with F that is not flashlight. It has to be more than 3 letters. So or it doesn't count. It cannot be a proper name, and it can't be a word that somebody has used previously during that same game. So it sounds very simple. It sounds like, why would you play that? But I'll tell you, it's a hilarious, fun game. Because when you look at the picture, you say flashlight. So there's something in your brain that kind of stops you from. It's very simple. You've just got to think up a word with F. But sometimes your tongue gets twisted and you say something hilarious. You combine the word flashlight with some other word and you come up with something funny. So it's a very fun and fast moving game. I played it with my kids. My kids loved it. They had a friend over, we played it with them, and they just wanted to play it over and over and over again. And they had a great time. And it was really, it's one of those things where you say, wow, why hasn't somebody done this game already? It seems so obvious. It's like it's one of those games because when you play it, it's a riot. And it's something that you can break out anywhere as a filler. You can play any number of rounds. You can play with a ton of people or just a few people or a couple, just 2 people. It goes really, really fast. So it really is a very good filler. So I also played it at a convention with a bunch of gamers. We were looking for something really fast in between games, and I pulled out Blurble, and you can teach people literally in 10 seconds how to play the game. And once we started playing, everybody had a great time. And these were serious gamers. So I'm really hoping that Blurble does very well out in the marketplace. I think it has potential to do very well because it's one of those games that once you play it, you're kind of like, well, I need to have a copy of that because that was really fun. And it fits that niche as a filler game. It fits that niche where you can play it with your game groups, but you can play it with your kids or you can play it with your extended family. You can play it with your friends. You can play it with people who aren't gamers. It really is a game that can be pulled out in any situation. And that's kind of rare. The artwork is good. Now, the artwork is not, the artwork isn't fantastic, but it's perfect for this game. Because the important thing here, like that's a reindeer. You see it, you know it's a reindeer. Everybody can identify what it is. So if I played the reindeer card, you could not say rain. That's another thing. You can't use a word that's part of the word that's on the card. So I could not say rain. I could say rickets or racket, or I could not say Rudolph. A lot of people would say Rudolph because they see reindeer and they think R and they think Rudolph. So it ties up your brain a little bit, and then you're like, okay, well, what? And you're stuck. You can't think of a word that begins with R. And those moments can be very hilarious. So, like that's a trampoline. This is yin and yang symbol. That's a ladder. So the images, golf cart. The images, a visor. The images are very easy. When people look at them, was only a couple times where we threw a card and people had different ideas about what it actually was. And in those cases, there's rules for that too, included in the rule book. Whoever says a word first is going to be the winner, and if everybody agrees that that's what the image was, then they win that card. So, and there's also some suggestions on and some things we did when we played with the gamer group. We made it a little more difficult. You could come up with a category. Like we said, okay, you've got to come up with a word that is something edible. It's got to be food, something that you can eat. So if we did that, if we did this, it was coffee, we would have to come up with a word that began with C that was something edible. So somebody could say cake, and that would work. All right. But clown, you could not use because it wasn't edible. So you can imagine, you could make up great, hilarious games by just coming up with a theme. You could do themes on all kinds of things. You could do names of bands. You could do geography. If you want to do like a Cards Against Humanity thing, you could do perverted words. You could really do anything to hone this game into your group, and that's a neat aspect to it. So Blurble, I'm going to look on Board Game Geek right now and see what people are rating this. I know it just started going out to Kickstarter backers, so I don't know if it has many ratings yet, but let me check and see. Okay, so Blurble, like I said, just came out. Nobody has even rated Blurble yet. So I don't know if I know people are just getting this now. I think they might still be shipping it out to Kickstarter backers. But I've got to tell you, this game really kind of surpassed my expectation. When I saw it, I kind of said, well, that's a good idea. I think kids are going to love that game. And I had intended it to be a game that I could play with my kids. And it's perfect for that. My kids love it. They had such a good time, I can't even tell you. They wanted to play it over and over again. And they laughed so hard at some of the words that came out of people's mouths. What I didn't expect is that when I played it with my gamer friends at a convention, that they really enjoyed the game. I didn't expect how you could, when we started doing, okay, it's got to be something edible, how that added to the game and made it more interesting. So it's really, and I think there's a lot of opportunity here for you to make up other kinds of games with these cards. So Blurble, I think Blurble is a hit, and I really hope it does well. I think you really need to try this. You really need to check it out. If you are, I think this will fit into anybody's group. If you're a casual gamer, this is definitely for you. If you're looking for a good family game, this is definitely something for you. If you are in a game group and like more serious games but are looking for a little filler game that can fill any amount of time, that you can teach really quick, even if you've got just 5 or 10 minutes while you're waiting for another game to end, you can pull out Blurble and play it for 5 minutes. That's the kind of filler it is. You can play it immediately, you can teach it immediately, and you can play it for any amount of time that you want. Not many games can do that, so it's very good for your game group. Now, sure, there'll be people who won't like this. If you're a really hard strategy kind of gamer and you don't like visual games or games that it's kind of got a party atmosphere, this game. So sure, there's going to be people who won't like Blurble, but I think it's got a huge market. I think this game has a huge market, and I think you should try it because I think it might fill a niche in your collection, and I think if you get it, I think you might be playing a lot more than you think. So I hope this review has helped you. Blurble, it's a ton of cards with different pictures, very simple game to play, but man, we had a great time playing it. Alright, so my bottom line here is if you're looking for a fun, fast, filler game, you have to check Blurble out. If you're looking for a family game, you need to check it out. If you're especially looking for a game you can play with younger children who can't yet read, this is perfect. And not only could the really young kids have fun, older kids can have fun, and adults can have fun. It fits a niche that's really hard to find. So Blurble definitely has a lot of value. So I hope this review was helpful. This was episode number 30 of When to Play. We'll be back again soon with episode number 31. Thanks for watching. My name's Robert Burke.